Hello again and welcome to the Warrington game Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, I would like to say a big thank you to Chris Merrill for sending in some awesome pictures of his Cadian 8th holding off a Dark Elder raid. A couple of things I want to say about these pictures. Firstly, love the old school Dark Elder. Absolutely love it. I have to say, and maybe this is just, rose tinted glasses, but I think the old school Dark Elder look fantastic. They look so classic. They look so unique. I mean, the new Dark Elder stuff, yeah, it looks really sleek and they can't deny it, but at the same time, it's a bit, the new Raider I'm a bit iffy on because it sort of goes fat at the front and then thin and then fat at the back, and I really like the old school Raider because it looks like an arrowhead, like literally like a broadhead arrow, like this piercing thing that is screaming towards you. It's pointy. It's pointy. So really like the old school Dark Elder. So thank you for sending some pictures of those. Alone, that is worth it. Second thing is the terrain. I recognise the terrain. In fact, I recently did a beginner battle report using this terrain similar to this. This is by Battle Systems. If anyone is interested, I can do a video on some Battle Systems terrain. I have got some myself. It's absolutely fantastic stuff. It's cardboard. It's like the old. It's not really cardboard. It's like die cut cardboard. It's high toughness cardboard. Comes completely pre-painted. Takes about an hour to pop it all out. An hour to put it all together. Really good way of building an instant battlefield. And as you guys can see in these pictures, it's really high detailed. So I am seriously thinking in going pretty all in on some Battle Systems terrain. Remind myself I need to go and contact them because it's really cool stuff. Anyway, if anyone else has got any cool, thanks for these pictures in, Chris. If anyone else has got any cool pictures that they want me to use in my videos, please post them on my Facebook page or email them to me, and there will be Facebook page links and there will be email addresses down in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So today, guys, I wanted to do a quick fixing the rules video. I know you guys have been quite enjoying these fixing the rules, and whilst some of you have agreed with the way that I would fix some of the rules that are in for the Guard Kirks in 40k in general, some of you have disagreed and proposed some really cool alternatives, and I would definitely say and definitely encourage for you guys to do that. If you don't agree with the way that I would fix things, let me know. At the end of the day, it's just my ideas, and I often have very many bad ideas, as my boss likes to tell me. It's enthusiasm. Love the enthusiasm, Tim, but the ideas is a load of dog shit. So I'm used to hearing that my ideas are bad, so that's absolutely fine. You got to throw enough shit at the wall to see if it sticks. But what I want to look at today, guys, is vehicle equipment. So currently, for the Guard, there's a couple of bits of vehicle upgrades which are essentially useless, and you have three options. Now, I'm not going to propose any new vehicle upgrades, vehicle equipment in this video, but what I would love is if people have got any ideas of vehicle equipment, because we've only got three options at the moment, put your ideas down in the comment section below. Let's take a look at them. But the three that we currently have access to are Auger arrays, Dozer Blades, and track guards. Now, currently, what Auger arrays do is once per battle in the shooting phase, you can reroll a single failed hit roll for a vehicle with an Auger array. So it gives you one. It gives you like one reroll, and I believe all of these upgrades are either 5 or 10 points. Okay. Now the Dozer Blade, so that's pretty useless, to be honest. When you've got things like orders, you've either got Cadians or who can reroll ones, or you've got orders which allow you to reroll ones, and you're taking tank commanders. It's just not very good. It's not worth it, in all fairness. And it's a failed hit roll, so because the old wording, that means if the enemy's got a -1 to hit penalty on them, there's a chance that the dice can just fall into the negative zone. So it's not a good upgrade. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take it. The next one, Dozer Blade, Dozer Blades are cool, so I wish this was good. If a vehicle with a Dozer Blade charges in the charge phase, add 1 to hit rolls made for it until the end of the ensuing fight phase. I'm going to be honest with you, not that bothered if my Lever Russ hits on 5s or hits on 6s in combat. Not really that bothered. And the thing is, it's not even like if I get charged. It's I have to charge with my vehicle and then I get 5+. I can hit on 5s. Yay! It's like, no. Come on. It's terrible. Doesn't represent anything. It's just you didn't know what to do with it, did you, Games Workshop? And then the last one, which is actually good, and I wouldn't change this one very much. I wouldn't change it at all, actually. Track guards. A vehicle with track guards always counts having starting number of wounds for determining its move characteristic. I.e., its move characteristic does not decrease as it suffers wounds. Perfect. You will not always need track guards, but they're not so expensive that slapping them on all your hellhounds is a big problem. Hellhounds recently went down in 10 points. You know what I see that as? I don't see that as a 10-point decrease. I see that as free track guards for all the hellhounds out there. You know, they're really, really good in hellhounds track guards. It's almost an auto-include upgrade, especially, like I said, with a 10-point decrease that they've all recently had. So today we're going to focus on the Auger array and the Dozer Blades. Now, the Auger array is essentially it's like an Auspex. It's like a radar. You know, that's what it is. So I think it needs to do something more like a radar, not just like re-rolling a hit. You know, it's silly. So what I think, instead of just random re-roll failed hit roll for a vehicle with an Auger array, either my two proposals are this. Either it gives some kind of +1 to hit benefit, so you could have it where you make it like, if it's 5 points, why would it be? See, why this is what gets at me. Why would it be a once per game thing? It's a piece of equipment. Why would it be a once per game thing? So it should. I would propose do two things. One, removes the benefit of cover for saving throw purposes, or because you now are using the radar to locate people, it should ignore the -1 to hit benefit from terrain, or it should allow your tank to shoot, ignoring minus to hit modifiers. Okay, that would be the two things that I would suggest. So either it basically allows you to locate the enemy, so if they're trying to sneak around in some dense terrain or whatever, doesn't help you. Sorry, buddy, I'm just gonna be able to locate you. I've got my radar on. Or because you know the enemy's in cover, it can be like, oh, we'll just ignore cover. Now, for me personally, I actually think ignoring the -1 to hit penalty is better, or ignoring all to hit penalties. Now, the reason I think that's better is we already have a way of ignoring cover, essentially, via the astropath, and I don't really like it when abilities overlap too much. It just doesn't do it for me. So for me, what would make it nice and unique is just ignore to hit penalties. Nice and simple. Not always going to come up, but it's, you know, it also interacts with the new terrain rules. And look, Games Workshop wants us to play with more complicated terrain rules. This is a way of interacting with those rules. Like some of my vehicles have these Auger arrays on. I'm going to ignore the minus hit penalties. That's one way I would do it. That would be my preferred method. What do you guys think? Do you think it should be some kind of just let's keep it simple? You get some reroll ones. It's a 15, 20 point upgrade and you reroll ones, or should it be like a 10-point upgrade and you just ignore minus to hit penalties? Because I think the reason I like the minus to hit penalty ignoring thing is it then starts making it kind of interesting on regular Leman Russes, because they struggle when they start getting minuses to hit. They really do, and that's why Ballistical 3+ is so valuable on tank commanders. So yeah, something like that I think would be really, really cool. I could also totally go for well, no, we'll leave it at that. So Dozer Blades are a tricky one, because with the new Dozer Blades originally, back in the day, what they used to do, guys, is you used to have something called difficult terrain. So if you drove your vehicle through some terrain, there was a chance that it would get snagged and detracked if it drove over a bit of rubble or something, and it could get immobilized. That was the risk, and you had like a 1 in 6 chance of that happening. And what the Dozer Blade used to let you do is re-roll the dice to see if your vehicle got snagged, and that was actually quite useful, because there was nothing more frustrating than your Demarcher cannon or your Hellhound just getting snagged. Now with new terrain, new terrain rules don't do that really, do they? Because obviously your vehicles don't get immobilized anymore. They've just got wounds. So there's two things that I would do with Dozer Blades. Okay, I would actually add the following two benefits to it. Number one, ignore. Let it represent that it's a Dozer. Dozer Blades are used for battering through terrain and stuff, right? They are used to allow you to make vehicles go where they want to go. Could also be used for making like embankments and stuff like that. But in terms of 40k, the idea of Dozer Blades, your tank's like smashing through a wall or smashing through. What it should mean is that the tank can ignore all movement penalties for moving through terrain. Okay, or just ignore all movement penalties. So if keep it simple, that means it starts having some more wider game implications. But what I mean by that is, is your tank going to be driving through a crater? Have you got a, which would normally -2 to your movement? Okay, Dozer Blade can just go through and dozer that thing away. Don't worry about it. I mean, that is, if you really want to get crazy, you could have it where you could use a Dozer Blade to remove craters. But I think that's just silly. That starts getting complicated. Literally just like destroy terrain features. You don't want to do that. I think having the Dozer Blade allows you to ignore all movement penalties. I think that's just cool. Yeah, what if someone psychic powers you, blah, blah. Well, you know what? If someone psychic powers me, fine. And I still get to ignore the movement penalties. It gives my Dozer Blade more wide-reaching tactical implications. But at the very least, it should allow me to move through any terrain feature with ignoring the movement penalties. I would also argue, because you have to be able to move through terrain, I think another cool way the second thing I would add to it, by the way, is I think it should give tanks the breachable keyword or whatever, or allow tanks with Dozer Blades to take advantage of the breachable keyword. So what do I mean by that? Well, breachable is a keyword for terrain which allows infantry to move through solid walls. Essentially, it means they breach and clear through the wall. Now, vehicles at the moment have to go round terrain because they're not infantry, so they can't breach through the wall. If you have a Dozer Blade, you should be able to take advantage of the breachable keyword, so you could just go through terrain features. So they're the two things that I would have it do. Literally, if you've got a Dozer Blade on your tank, this could be true for Vindicators, for Marines as well. If other armies have the fly keyword, they can just fly up and over buildings to shoot at the people hiding in them, then the Imperial Guard, the Imperial Man, should be well, we're not going to fly up and over the building. That's cowardly. We're going to go through the building. I think that would be so cool. So you can literally, you don't destroy any terrain features, but you ignore movement penalties for going through craters and other movement penalties, and you can breach through walls. You just drive straight through it. That would be the two ways that I would. That'd be one way I would make the Dozer Blade work. Have it interact with terrain features again. It makes much more sense than it being some sort of weird combat upgrade. One other sort of little bonus you could add, which in all seriousness, I would consider adding this into the mix. Or just add it to all Imperial Guard vehicles, or have it as part of Dozer Blade, but have it where, bring back the old Mars, the Lemurus Mars Alpha pattern rule, where if you've got a Dozer Blade and someone shoots at your vehicle, if it's strength 4 or less, just get an extra +1 to your save. So basically represent the shot pinging, this low strength shot pinging off the Dozer Blade. I think that would be pretty cool. So, but obviously a Dozer Blade is not a massive slab of armour on the front. So if someone, shoots it, it will probably go through. I mean, I don't know, maybe just give the vehicle. That is one other way. This has just occurred to me. So sorry if this is a bit rough around the edges, guys. I went into this video with the movement penalty and the breachable idea. But one other thing you could simply have is, look, Dozer Blades are actually just big bits of extra millimeters of armour on the front of your vehicle. So if you have a Dozer Blade and someone shoots at your vehicle at the front, you get +1 to your save. Now you might be like, ooh, but isn't that adding arcs back in, vehicle arcs back in? Ooh, Morning Glory would, you know, the whole point of 8th and 9th edition is you don't have to start determining if something's on the front arc or whatever. Well, they've kind of already set a precedent for this with Bulgarins and their stratagem, Shield of Flesh. Okay, because Shield of Flesh, if any unit is behind the Bulgarins, then they get -1 to hit when you use that stratagem. So, you know, that's already taken into account arcs, isn't it? Something to consider. Let me know what you guys think down below. Would really like to know your ideas on Auger arrays and Dozer Blades. Maybe if you've got any ways to improve track cards, that'd be awesome. What about other additional vehicle equipment? Definitely should be some kind of big vehicle comlink set, so you know vehicle orders can be thrown out further than 6 inches. You know, one of the greatest advantages in tank warfare, especially like World War II, the tanks that did well versus tanks that didn't do well were the tanks that had radios in them. You know, for example, like a lot of the Japanese armor didn't have radios in it at first, which meant it just got, they had to be like hand signals and flags and stuff, and it was just rubbish. You know, a lot of the early tanks, again, didn't have radios, and the big advantage that I think the Germans had in World War II, especially against a lot of the armies they went at the beginning, was that they had radios in like every tank, and it was just like, that's how they were able to coordinate and do things. So some kind of radio comlink thing would be a big, big boost. And then I do also think that there should be some, I don't know, there's loads of different options you could have. Loads and loads of options. The comlink thing's just one that springs to mind for me. But what do you guys think about my ideas for the Dozer Blade, for making it breachable? I think that would be cool. And, you know, Auger arrays, you know, and ignoring to hit penalties. I think that would be cool as well. Gives us something that we don't currently have in the guard, and helps us, if we're willing to pay the points, fix some of the fundamental issues with our faction. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.